When it comes to color grading, matching a look from a reference image to the desired clip can be a tedious and long process. But what if the process could be done in just one click? Well, today I'll be taking a look at a plugin for Davinci Resolve that was sent to me by a company called Retouch for Me, and their plugin aims to do exactly that. So, let's test it out. Okay, so I'm here in Davinci Resolve now, and I have three clips that I'm going to be using. They're stock footage from ArtGrid, and I'm just going to use them as sort of a test bed for this plugin. And I thought it'd be cool to try matching these clips to movies. So we've got a car clip here, and I want to match this to like the car chase scene in The Batman. And then we have a clip of a dude standing on a sand dune, and maybe I'll try matching that to Dune, since that's very popular right now. And then for our next clip, we have a tropical area. And the goal for this one is to try and match it with Rogue One. So I've already set up a basic node tree for each of these. Obviously, we're going to put the match plugin here on this last node. I've done some exposure changes, and then I've just converted it to Rec. 709 Gamma 2.4. In my testing, it seems like this plugin, unfortunately, only seems to work the best in Rec. 709, which I know isn't ideal. It's not ideal for me. I would prefer to work in DaVinci Wide Gamut, but I have not been able to get good results out of it in DaVinci Wide Gamut. So that's why I'm using Rec. 709 for this demonstration. We'll start with this clip. Let me get rid of that. And once you have the plugin installed, you can find it in the search bar in the effects library by just searching up color match, and it comes up like this, and it has this icon. It's kind of a long name. You just drag and drop it onto your node, and you'll get this menu. It gives you some controls, which we'll take a look at in a second. I'm going to start by clicking choose reference image, and I have some stills I've pulled here that we'll use for our demonstration. And right here I have a still from the Batman. I'm going to open that, and there you go. It color matched to that, and it gives you a little indication over here of what it was like before, and this is the still you're color matching to, and then you have that here. And overall, for that frame, honestly looks pretty cool. The oranges are, obviously the lighting is going to be different from scene to scene, but the oranges are just about there. Obviously it could be a little bit more intense, but yeah, it looks good. I would just say the blacks are too crushed, and the Batman, as you can see, they go for a much more of a lifted black, which that can be done. I'm doing it really badly here, and like with a 2-second thing. This is awful. But there you go. That's a little bit more of a lifted black feel. But I mean, aside from that, yeah, it looks pretty good. Looks pretty cool. And obviously you can, these controls are to allow you to dial it in. So I can pull back on this color match blend over here, and that blends it. Looks great. At like, I'd say at 100% it looks great for me, because I can always go back to an earlier node and adjust as well. There's match smoothing as well, which I don't think looks very good. That just kind of, I guess, blends it out. I'm not too fond of that for this shot, at least. And then it's matching luminance. So if you don't want it to touch the luminance values, you just pull back on that, or park it somewhere in the middle. Which honestly, that right there is probably pretty good. And then there's match color. So if you just wanted to match the luminance, you can get that. Or if you want to match the color, you've got that. I'd say for this shot, obviously it needed additional correction for the shadows, but it got us that result pretty quickly, and it looks pretty decent, and it was fast. Right, moving on to the next clip now, we have this one, and I'm going to drag and drop the effect on here again, and this time we're going to choose our reference image. I'm going to choose this one from Dune. So I'm going to open that, and there you go. I will say it is a lot like Dune. I mean, you've got the very beige color scheme, and I mean, before and after, it is a huge difference. It does definitely compress the range of the colors. There's less contrast, but I guess that kind of fits with the theme. And yeah, it doesn't look horrible. The one thing I would say is this kind of gets annoying. The blues up here, that looks a little bit weird, but obviously it's not going to be perfect. It's just doing it off of one reference image. This image doesn't have the sky in it, it just shows the desert. But for what it is, that's a pretty good match. I would probably go in here, back to my exposure, I would deepen that, brighten that a little bit. Just do that to give it a little bit more contrast, make it pop a bit more. And yeah, that's not bad. That's a good, pretty decent match. And I think, like I said, you can mess with the blending here. Maybe you don't want to go all the way with it. You just want it to be a little bit more subtle. I think that actually looks pretty good there. And then you could maybe smooth it out a little bit more. That doesn't look very good for this one. Luminance, I think matching the luminance for this shot works great because Dune's colors tend to be very pastel in terms of their luminance. It's very pastel-like. And then color match looks pretty good. You also have temperature and tint controls. I think it's fine for this. It's doing a temperature modification under the hood. But yeah, we've gone from that to that. Looks pretty good. And then go over to this last clip. And I chose this one because I like Rogue One a lot. It's one of my favorite Star Wars movies. I know I'm going to get hate in the comments for that. I don't like any of the other Disney Star Wars movies, really. I mean, Solo was okay, but we don't talk about the sequels. But as far as Disney Star Wars movies go, Rogue One was great. And I liked the cinematography of it. And so why not try to match color to it? This is another stock footage clip. Tropical Island. Let's try to match to Scarif. So I have a still from Rogue One. I'm going to snag that. And yeah, the greens look a little bit unnatural. And it definitely, the sky looks a little dim, but maybe that can be fixed with some exposure adjustment, add some contrast, maybe a little bit of saturation in, and that looks better. So yeah, not bad, not horrible. I would say the greens are not like looking great. Then again, this shot was a little bit warmer to begin with. It had like, I guess, maybe the sun was setting around that time it was filmed. But yeah, not bad overall, I would say. A pretty good match. And that's honestly like what this is going to be used for. This plugin, from as far as I can tell and as far as I've used it for, it does not do perfect one-to-one matching. It's kind of just to get you as close as you can to like another image. It's not like trying to color match between two different cameras. It just seems to only work in Rec 709, and it gives you what it gives you, and you're just kind of stuck with that for the most part. Like obviously you can blend it, which I would say this one could use some blending. But yeah, I mean, for if you're just doing some casual like matching, this is not bad. Or if you're trying to just, have reference, this is good. Whether or not I would personally buy it is a different question. Me personally, I don't have too much need for a plugin like this. I will say, like, it's cool, it works, but I wish it would work better in Davinci Wide Gamut. I'll just show you. If we go to this shot here, and instead of let's just change this to Davinci Wide Gamut, because when you work in Rec 709, you're restricting yourself so much. So we're gonna let's restart and try it again in Davinci Wide Gamut, and I'll show you how it doesn't really do as good. And drag it on and choose a reference image, the Batman, and it looks full. It does not like Davinci Wide Gamut. And I'm sure if we did like Aces, it would not like Aces either. Yeah, the one downside is it has to be, from what I can tell, Rec 709 at the end of your node tree. So I'd say this is more for like casual people that don't really know as much about color grading, because I bet you with more time and more effort and more knowledge as a colorist, you could recreate the Batman look very easily without having to use this kind of plugin. But if you're someone that's just trying to save time, just trying to do it easily, and you don't need to be perfect, and you're only working with Rec 709, this plugin isn't bad. On their website, you can see they kind of advertise it as like copying colors from other images or movie frames to your footage. And it does that. Like I said, only in Rec 709, apparently. But if you want to buy it, it is $93. Normally, it's $124. So they're having a sale right now. As of the time I'm looking at their website, it's a spring sale, get 25% off. And if you ask me, that's kind of a lot of money for a plugin I personally would not use all that much, but maybe you're the kind of person that wants to use it. I do recognize that there are beginners and people that don't want to get their hands super dirty with color grading, and they just want something easy and fast. And this may be something you'd want to consider. And if you are considering getting this, retouch for me. They sent me the software for free. They're not paying me to say anything, but they did give me an affiliate link that'll give 30% off for all of my subscribers. So if for some reason you do feel inclined to purchase this, click the link in the description of this video and scroll down. There's a lot of different plugins that they're giving you discounts on. I have not tried any of these aside from the one down here, which is purple, which says retouch for me, color match OFX. You want to get the OFX one if you are going to get this, and it's $86.80 on their website. Well, that's all from me for this one. If you enjoyed the video, you know what buttons to click. My name is Rocco. Jesus loves you, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.